Hello everyone. In this very nice day we meet Dr. Charles from Infrastructure University, Kuala Lumpur. He's specialist in human resource management. Actually, today we're gonna ask him several questions about women, specialist about the women. Charles, I will start the first questions. Actually, what is the invisible barrier which is prohibitive girls to get very good job, very good positions in the organizations, especially in the developing country?
Yeah, thank you so much, Dr. Isham. Nice meeting you again after a very long time.
Yeah, so missing you actually.
Yeah, it's very good. Well, the issue of women handling top positions in management and in organization is actually a very current issue now in human resource management that we try to pay attention to. And then we have a lot of reasons or factors try to look at the gender balance between men and women in organization. Yeah. So we have a lot of issues, but we just narrow it down to the basic ones that we are going to look at in an organization that affect why women, or you think that they don't occupy top position in management. You are not going to look at it firstly without looking at the life, family, and work priorities. Mm-hmm. You know, most especially you give more attention in terms of family upbringing. The life of a woman ties down to the family, and then that becomes her major priority compared to work.
The individual characteristic.
Exactly. So women actually like the bread or those who pay more attention to take care of the family. Mm-hmm. So it also affects their management position in sense of way that they have time for maternity leave when they give birth, and then the society view women to be responsible for domestic job at home, which actually bring us to the idea of the societal belief that relates to men and women role. So the women role is more into the family and then domestic affair at home. You also look at religion and cultural values. You have some societies that still have their religious belief on the role of women, and then you also have their cultural belief on the role of women. So it also affects the reason why you might not see women in top management position in some organization in particular, with reference to particular religion or cultural values that the people of that particular region in the society holds. So you cannot neglect that. And most of the time, top management positions are like political criteria for you to have such position. So if you look at it from the political criteria, women see politics as an exclusive reserved area for men. So a lot of women do not like going into politics. So since you have low presence or low percentage of women in politics, then you don't expect to have such people in management position when political criteria is being used to give such position in terms of the managerial position of top organizations. So we also look at the omnipresence of men's value in organizational culture, which we have a lot here. And then we also look at the issue of marginalizing, or what we call marginalization of women, which is more common than we want to admit. But the truth is, we have to know that sometimes women are still being diminished, they are being sidelined, they are also being suppressed, and then thought of less because they are different from the leadership norm that we have in our society. Mm-hmm. So these are some of the major reasons that we still have why women don't occupy top management position. And sometimes we also not neglect the internal politics of such organization. The management, the CEOs, the board of directors, the shareholders, all these people have influence in actually to determine who occupies the top management of such organization.
Okay, now if we just say, like in shortcut, there is a glass ceiling, and we need to break this glass ceiling.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, I will discuss all this issue you just now given, but why one by one. Yeah. Let me start with this strangulations. If we need, like when all in the strangulations, because from some scientific point of view, there is usually the big task, the important task, usually giving to the man. Then, in the end of the day, when they need to evaluate the good positions, it is dependent about how many tasks, very unique and special tasks you already have been done, correct? And usually they already have been taken from the man. In this way, it is very difficult to the women to reach her idea or her dream in the organizations, which is called the job segregations. The job segregations, how can we avoid that?
Avoiding job segregation, yes. Actually, we, just as I've explained earlier, the issue of job segregation is actually a very big challenge in terms of human resource management. And then we already have, from my own perception, that's what I'll look at mainly, and then maybe other people's perception. If you want to avoid job segregation,
this perceptions, I just will cut you. The perceptions, because usually the leader inside the organizations, it is leader or the man inside the organizations, they just think they cannot handle the issue because they will be confused between her work, her housework, and between the organization's work, and it will confuse her.
Yes.
And they have perceptions, fact about that. How can we manage this?
Yes, the truth about it, it has to do with what we refer to as intuition.
Mm-hmm.
Now, when you look at the issue of intuition, it has to come where you make decisions from the human perspective.
Okay.
Are you getting it? It's not like there is a particular, okay, these are the rules and regulations in the organization for you to follow. But sometimes when you have issues like that, the human nature comes into play. This is intuition. You use your own knowledge and your own feelings to make such decision. So some certain jobs, you understand, based on that, has been assigned to women and some to men, which definitely, when it comes to some very critical decision in organization, you see the men coming into play. Some job that involve hard labor, you understand, they are meant for the men, definitely.
But what about the gender stereotype? Because usually the man, he need to refer the good positions to the job. It is about the control issue.
No, it's not about the gender equality or stuff like that we are looking at. There are some jobs that are not actually good for women. They are hazardous to women. Okay, I take for example like maybe job that involve physical strength. You cannot expect a lady to be very physical in her strength compared to a man. A man is more physical in the strength. Maybe people who work in like the oil rig.
No, I just refer to the decisions.
So
decisions making did not have all these things, strong things.
No, the problem is not just becoming. It depends on the organization. That's what I'm saying, based on the intuition. You cannot just make a decision in to appoint. I'm not saying it's wrong for a lady to be there, but these are some of the reasons why they give for job segregation.
But it is give you diversifications.
Yeah, we know the issue
and variety and less breast in the man.
Yeah, no, definitely. It is what every human resource management tries to look at, how to balance gender in the organization. But sometimes it's not easy the way it's been presented. It's very, very difficult.
I don't think so.
It's difficult because I've told you sometimes it still boils down.
Can you give me very specific example? Because I don't believe about this idea.
I cannot be very specific on any example.
Yeah, you cannot, because I think they can do everything.
I can't. You want me to maybe believe, because I'm not trying to make me to stereotype between female. No. I will not do that. I will not do that. To be sincere, I'm not against women.
Okay.
You understand? Or neither am I in support of men, or am I in support of women. No, we're trying to create a balance here. Agreed. But what you need to know is, even you are the head of the human resource, you can only recommend.
Yeah.
The recommendation is still determined by the people that are there. But we still have women that are occupying top positions that are doing fantastically good.
Yes.
Very good in such positions.
But not more 10%.
You understand? Yeah, but I've told you these are the various factors that are responsible. Why? But I believe with time, when you have more women, you understand, present in our organization, which we are having increased in number of women taking over positions of top management, and then we have a high presence of women in organization working, definitely they're going to take up the top management position if they are qualified. And then we'll look at the job specification, and then we know that she's equal to the task. Why not? She's going to take the job.
Because it is not political, not law reason, because all the politics
what I mean, when I mean political criteria is there's a certain position that when you talk of political criteria,
they support them.
It is
the error you can find it inside the organization itself.
Yes, no. What I'm saying is when you look at the political criteria here, what I'm trying to say is there are some top management position that is going to be appointed by the leader of a particular political organization. But when you have less women in politics and then you have more men, when that time comes, definitely the men are going to take the position because you have less women in that field. So what you're supposed to look at is not that there's a total neglect of women taking over top management position. What you need to look is what is the percentage of women that are working in such organization. So there are various factors that are responsible why you don't have a lot of women there, which I talk about the domestic factor, where women take care of the kids, they go on maternity leave, and then, by and large, most of the time, women stay with their husband. So when you have a career woman, you understand, you have to also balance between family and work, which sometimes might not be as easy as being presented.
This is about the perceptions.
Exactly.
Just what we discussed now.
It's difficult for them.
But I think it is still perceptions. We need to avoid. We need to avoid that because this one, it is affect the organizations in her economic issue. Because now you just say, if we like example have organizations, the staff around 100%, 50% from that's female, and they cannot take decisions making, they cannot work like a woman. All the stress will be to the boy, to the guy, and it is have the organizations will stop and struggling in this way.
Yes, but you also
compared to organizations will be fully in 100% working.
Yes, but you also have to consider some certain factors, like most organizations have their rules and regulations that governs them. And that is why I still tell you that top management position is not just only in the hands of human resource. You also have to look at the board of directors. You have to look at shareholders. You have to also look at owners of such, whether it's a private my organization or it's a public organization. If it's private organization, definitely the CEO of the organization have majority of these shares of the company. It's his personal company, so he determines who becomes his CEO. He determines who becomes a management position in such organization. So you can't influence it because it's his company. Yeah, but when you look at the public company also, you also have to look at the role of the shareholders and the board of directors, which are very critical because most of these positions are voted for. So when you have majority of the board of directors or the shareholders voting for a particular person, it becomes the head of the organization. So there's nothing the human resource managers can do there than to make sure that we see that these are the people who are actually qualified and we recommend them for this position. But you also look at the policies of those organizations on how they appoint who becomes the top managers of their organization.
Example have organizations, the staff around 100%, 50% from that's female, and they cannot take decisions making, they cannot work like a woman. All the stress will be to the boy, to the guy, and it is have the organizations will stop and struggling in this way.
Yes, but you also
compared to organizations will be fully in 100% working.
Yes, but you also have to consider some certain factors, like most organizations have their rules and regulations that governs them. And that is why I still tell you that top management position is not just only in the hands of human resource. You also have to look at the board of directors. You have to look at shareholders. You have to also look at owners of such, whether it's a private my organization or it's a public organization. If it's private organization, definitely the CEO of the organization have majority of these shares of the company. It's his personal company, so he determines who becomes his CEO. He determines who becomes a management position in such organization. So you can't influence it because it's his company. Yeah, but when you look at the public company also, you also have to look at the role of the shareholders and the board of directors, which are very critical because most of these positions are voted for. So when you have majority of the board of directors or the shareholders voting for a particular person, that is, it becomes the head of the organization. So there's nothing the human resource managers can do there than to make sure that we see that these are the people who are actually qualified and we recommend them for this position. But you also look at the policies of those organizations on how they appoint who becomes the top managers of their organization.
Today, Infrastructure University Kuala Lumpur, Charles, thank you very much.
Thank you, Isham.